I have a seltzer. I have one seltzer bottle at home that I bought from some antique store, right?
Does it have a chain on the outside of the
No,
middle?
no, it doesn't have a chain. No, it's just, it's like a bluish color.
Yes.
You know? And we used to, they used to leave them out by the door, but of course the kids, we have to go play with them, right?
Yes.
So they were
Hard to
empty, but remember throwing them down from at least 1 story high with all that we had, and they would not break. They would break. These bottles, I don't know what type of glass they use them, but they were bulletproof.
What happens to the poor person if they tried to open it or spray it?
No. These were empty. These were
empty ones.
These are empty ones.
Oh,
Yes.
it would be more fun to throw a full one, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I guess so.
Maybe
but it'd be dangerous, Yeah.
Oh, because you thought of danger back then when you were doing that.
Oh, yeah.
stuff. Gdayall, and welcome to episode 21. Today we're going to talk about soda pop and fizz. And Phil, welcome.
Welcome. Hello.
Hello.
We're silly this morning.
There's a little sugar and coffee high happening.
Yeah.
What do you say? What do you call it? Because there's a few regions.
I call it soda.
Soda. I call it soda too.
And the Australians call it lemonade.
Lemonade or fizzy drink.
Yeah, okay.
But actually, quick story. I have to get through with this. I once went to a Catholic youth conference. I did. And there was this very cute boy. And he was from, I don't know, Montana, Wyoming or something. And he said, do you want to go get a pop? And I was like, a what?
Yeah.
He goes, like a pop, like a Coke. And I went, a soda? And he went, yeah, a pop. And I was like, yeah, I was going to write to you and stuff. And I quite like you. But now I just can never look at you again.
Well, I have that type of story also.
Yeah. Oh, please tell.
So on one of my trips to Kansas, my friend Dennis, we used to call him Cuda, because his father worked on the New York fish market.
Oh.
And so he used to fillet fish and stuff like that. And then they always had fish, so it was Cuda. So anyway, Cuda went into the service, so he enlisted instead of get drafted.
Right.
So he was stationed in Manhattan, Kansas. So I decided, okay, well, I'll take the dog out there, the Greyhound. And because I couldn't drive at 16 or whatever.
God,
so
how
I
long
took,
was the trip?
yes, about 2 hours.
Okay.
So I went out there to go visit him. I stayed overnight, and he went to work. He was an MP out there. He went to work, and then I got up and went over to KFC.
Yes.
And I just wanted something, Coke,
Yeah.
So I go in there. I said, "Can I have a Coke?" And they looked at me like, "What are you talking about?" I said, "A Coke." And, so I pointed. And they go, "Oh, you want pop?"
Ugh.
Just give me a Coke, all right?
It's my own country. I know what I want.
Yes.
Yes, it turned me right off. We have some not only regional names, because we're a strange lot. No matter where you go, we call it something different. We have lots of regional drinks. So I suppose it all started with people having their own flavors, and pharmacists used to mix them up in their own areas, and now they're regional. Luckily, it's a big world now, and we can all taste things.
Yes.
So we're going to look at that and the different varieties, and we're going to, our producer, he's being very kind of punny and cute again when he wrote this line.
Oh.
So today, we're going to pull the ring on American soft drinks. Oh God.
When was that? I just had at Pub Trivia.
Yeah.
One of the questions was, invented, I think it was 1966, this invention was.
Mm-hmm.
And I forgot how many millions of it have been duplicated since then. And that was the pop.
Well.
Remember that song, that country song, Papa Top again?
No,
I
don't.
think so.
I will have to look that up.
Papa
Is that
Top
maybe
again.
before my time?
No.
Okay.
No.
So today we're going to talk about what it's called, the timeline of soda, iconic drinks from every state, as I said, and there's some really weird, oddball flavors.
Yeah, we have seen them and tasted them.
We have tasted them. Now, my personal favorite, I actually quite like seltzers, and they're on their way back.
Seltzer.
Seltzer
Never left.
Flavored seltzer, maybe. And we have things familiar at USAFoods, so we'll talk about what we have and how we like getting different things and reactions from customers. and some of the best TV ads. And again, the producers sort of found, which we'll talk about, something that seems to weave its way through every ad, especially in the 80s. So we'll get through to that in a second.
Okay. I'm excited because I don't know what it is.
See, if you don't read the rundown, that's what happens.
Yep. I'd glance over. I'm like Dean Martin, you know.
I
just go for it.
Do you need a scotch with that?
Yeah. And a piano. I think I'll go to the couch.
Now, do you want to fill us in on some fun facts?
Well, I want to fill you in on fun facts?
Yeah, you tell me, and I've done enough talking. Everyone's sick of me so far.
Geez. What kind of fun facts? Well, I don't know any fun facts. What's
here.
so funny about it?
Okay, I'll do the first one.
Those fun facts. Fun facts. Yes. You know, we got to tell the audience, this is the first time we're doing this during this taping during a weekday.
That's
maybe
right.
that's what it is, you know. And lockdown in Victoria.
It's just
it might go on for another 3 years.
Well, we're just a little bit punchy this morning. Yes. I think that's it. But it could make for an amusing listen. I don't know. Okay,
so first fun fact, soft drink market in the U.S. is estimated at $269.6 billion a year, and it currently accounts for 27.1 shares in the global market. And does that take into account everybody gets those super Slurpees on the way to work? Remember that?
I had a guy I worked with, so he was probably the most Ivy League-ish guy that worked at the car dealership. He was our finance manager. Suit every day. Yeah. And he would walk in with this Slurpee the size of your head.
Right. The 32-ounce one.
Right. Full of Coke.
Super gulp.
And I was just like, and so now now every time I see one of those, it's like, oh, that's a Kevin Burkmeyer drink. Like I have the Lou Harvey coffee and I have a Kevin Burkmeyer drink.
Yep. And what gets me is like most of them didn't have any teeth left by the time they were 21. But the amount of sugar in one of those super Slurpees, and then you get the free refills when you come back. Yeah. So they would fill that up like 3 or 4 times a day, and then they want to know, how come I got diabetes?
And kidney problems and everything else. I think there's a generation of people that kind of went from coffee to soda for breakfast. And, and now it's sort of happening with energy drinks, which I find hard to take. Mm-hmm. And now another fun fact is, I love this. I love bad translations of things. So Pepsi's slogan was "Come alive with Pepsi," which was translated into Chinese as "Pepsi brings your ancestors back from the grave." I think that's, I wonder if anyone was out cracking a can and pouring it over the top.
But you got to give it to Pepsi because Pepsi was the first one to go into like Russia and probably into China. So they were pretty much a diplomatic soda. But I remember the trade with Russia was we could bring Pepsi to Russia so they could sell Stolosniets over to America. Good trade.
Yeah, that is a very good trade.
Okay. And so in another one, in early 1930s, Tobias Griffin, an Orthodox rabbi, lobbied Coca-Cola to offer a kosher version for Passover.
Which is a very smart thing.
And they still do that. Because I know that Benedict's, kosher wholesaler, they bring in Pepsi and other drinks and Coke that are kosher just for Passover.
Well, with Coke, they've got the yellow lid on it.
Yes.
So you can see that.
You can tell that it is.
Well, actually, because it's made with, from what I understand, because it's made with sugar, not corn syrup. Right. So it's no grains in it. There's all those people that that don't want corn syrup in their soda.
Yeah, the high fructose corn syrup.
That's right. It could work. And there's also, now I want to go back quickly to Pepsi, how they kind of infiltrated different areas. Mm-hmm. There's a funny thing, because, one of my favorite drinks is, like a rum and Coke. It's like Coca Libre or something called, right? So it's a Cuban drink, so it's lime and Coke. But actually, after communism took over Cuba, there's no Coke. Coke couldn't come in there. There was no Coke allowed in Cuba. So you could have a Cuban Libre with Coke there. I don't know whether they use Pepsi or something else.
The Colombian Coke. That was allowed.
Well, that's a special, and it's still not in North Korea, from what I understand, Coke.
Wow. Shin Young Jung, what happened to him?
Well, I don't know. You know, Dennis Rodman really needs to like push that barrel.
Yep. Okay. So, any more fun facts? You got anything else that's funny?
No, I'm just funny.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll take our first little Pepsi break, and we'll be right back. Okay, we're back. We're fizzy as ever. Okay, now we're going to talk about what is it called throughout the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
All right, now we did mention that it's called pop and fizz and
soda,
but looking at a full color map of the U.S., this is almost like looking at Republicans, Democrats, and Dixiecrats.
That's exactly right.
Because that's the way it just is colored, just that way. So, but where all the big popular states, okay, have voted for soda. Okay. And then all the Midwestern states, they're in yellow. That's how you say.
That's right. So they are pop.
They're pop.
See, I think that boy was from right around that Middle West over there.
Yeah. And then basically down south, they're Coke.
Coke. And everything's Coke. So I'll have a Coke. What kind of Coke do you want? I'll have a 7-Up Coke.
Speaking of 7-Up. Okay?
7-Up?
7-Up. Right. Now, some people might remember Soupy Sales. I heard about Soupy Sales.
Yes.
Right? And he even had recordings like Hey Do the Mouse and Buffalofica. They whisper it all over it somewhere.
I don't know.
Yeah. So he had this thing with 7-Up, right? But he always called it 7-Up. Right? You got any 7-Up? So, and that like just took off. People watching the show now call it 7-Up. And speaking of 7-Up,
yes,
I have in my house, still in my possession, about a half dozen original Uncola glasses.
Ooh, because that was its slogan, the Uncola.
The Uncola. So these are basically upside down cola glasses. So the bottom is fat and it goes up thin. And I remember I was in Brooklyn and I probably was only about 17, 18, just started driving.
Yeah.
Okay. Had to go pick them up all the way down 65th Street and like 3rd Avenue. Okay. In Brooklyn. Right. And that was like a 7-Up distributor or something like that, and pick up the glasses there.
Oh, how cool
and
is that?
I forgot I had to pay for them, would have been like $1.25 for 6 of them at the time. I don't remember. But I still have them. You
need to take a photo of them. Do you have them accessible?
Yeah.
We should put it up and then how many moves has that made? So
yeah. Well, that has gone from Brooklyn to New Jersey to California to Australia.
That's right. So those are pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I remember, and it was the guy, so when I remember 7-Up ads, it was the guy in the big wicker chair.
Yeah.
And he was like from Barbados, and he was like 7-Up, and he had the deepest voice.
Yes, I remember that.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think of 7-Up when I was sick. My mom was giving me 7-Up.
Well, most kids only had Coke syrup, but we had Coke syrup. Someone got upset. We had Coke syrup. So go down to the pharmacy or go down to Elsie, down to the candy store / bookie, and get some Coke syrup. And she just give you a little bit and take it home. And that supposedly settle your stomach. But I think it goes back to the original day when Coke was only made with 3 ingredients.
Which was cocaine?
Cocaine, right? Cocaine,
yep.
Sugar, and cocoa. Cocoa leaves or something, yeah.
Cola nuts.
Cola nuts. That's it, cola nuts.
So, Mom, why didn't my mother do that? I don't know.
Because she liked 7-Up.
7-Up. That's right. Maybe she thought because it was clearer, it was better. Yeah. I like the little bits of the Deep South where they have their own. So it's like they're saying Coca-Cola, but it's Cocola. I have Cocola. Yeah. And I remember seeing that in movies going, it must have been a John Grisham sort of like The Firm or the Pelican Brief or something like that where they say I have Coca-Colas. Mm-hmm.
And then up in Boston, of course they got to be different. They have tonic.
Do they have Coke tonic and 7-Up?
Well, they got tonic, so I guess if you go into a place, you got a tonic,
When they
I'll buy the car. I want to take it home in the car. Okay, so...
that is funny. We have just Yeah, like I'll say soda, and they'll say what soda, and we'll be like root beer, or Coca-Cola, whatever. But actually, my mom said her favorite ever was RC. So Cajun
Royal Crown
Royal
Cola.
Crown. So
And that was owned by 7-Up. Same bottle up.
I remember reading that. And 7-Up, if you have anyone to this day, it's one of the only lemonades that doesn't have preservatives that a lot of kids react to.
Ooh.
So if you have kids that have like reactions to colorings and flavorings, that is because I remember having to change grocery stores because I had to buy it. I bought it for a period of time because our store only had Coke products, not Pepsi products.
Excuse me.
Yeah, don't like
La-di-da.
I know. Now, after that, no matter what you call it, there's some weirdo ones as well. And we've been lucky enough to have a few come through our doors. But let's go with Japan always does weird and wonderful.
What, they got sushi flavored?
It feels like it. It is... Oh. Just cut that out.
We're getting interrupted here by our producer, Brendan.
Because,
And he likes this one because Fizz soda is like Fizz Farm.
That's right.
.com.
A little bit. That's right. A little bit of poppin' fizz. So evidently it hurts the producer if you do something slightly out of order. That will actually make no difference
and
whatsoever.
You get slapped on the hand.
That's exactly right. I'll stab him with a
fork.
So
we're going to go for the timeline or something.
Oh, God. Okay.
Okay, come on. Stick with the program.
I don't feel like history now, but all right. So it always comes back to alcohol with me, as you know.
Yes.
So carbonated soft drinks started accidentally. Great accident in 1700s where evidently there was a bowl of water. I hope it was boiled. I don't know. But it was near where they were brewing beer. And somehow it sort of jumped the fermentation and then the water was fizzy. And they went, hey, let's try that.
And the first soda was made by?
Tell me.
Schweppes. The first sparkling water, actually.
Okay, like commercially.
Schweppes Essence. And that was the name of the guy. His last name was Schweppes. So that was the first bottled carbonated beverage. Carbonated non-alcoholic beverage because beer was carbonated.
Yeah.
So
and to quote Johnny Carson, I did not know that. And then in 1819, the soda fountain was invented. So I had a chat about soda fountains because I know someone that was a soda jerk in one. And so you'd have syrups and flavorings, and then you'd have the carbonated water, which was the fountain bit. That's how it was mixed. So I think, modern days, you think a soda fountain is like when you go to Costco and get your free refill and put it against the container. But prior to that, it was a bit different. Yeah,
because they had the syrups, and all the syrups were little pump things. So depending on who you got, how strong it was or weak it was.
Yes. Yeah, so what did my mother quoted Pop Rose. So it was Rose's Pharmacy, and Pop Rose was the guy that owned it, Mr. Rose, and he was cheap. So
so you only got a half a squirt.
That's right. But at Anderson Pharmacy, they had like a little ladle that they used for their Coke. So that was evidently the employees from Rose Pharmacy went over to Anderson Pharmacy for lunch because at least they could get a decent Coke.
Yeah, because I remember as a kid going down to Elsie and Leo on the bookie/candy store, right? That very seldom will we buy Coke out of a bottle or Pepsi or any other because it was more expensive. So we just had them mix it there and then little paper type cup things, look like a cone.
Yep.
And did that. But that's also where the experimental things came about because they had all these different syrups on there that they use for ice creams a lot too.
Yes.
So you had your chocolate syrup, vanilla, and all that. And that's how all the flavors started getting mixed together. And then even like with 7-Up, they would mix it with with extra lime and made a lime Ricky. Put a little bit of cherry syrup in it, and that became a lime Ricky.
Right, I've had those, and I will give out Pop Rose's with my mother dressing it up a little bit so it's not too cheap. Her chocolate soda recipe that she was taught, but it was made with soda water.
Yeah.
But when my grandmother used to make it at home, she made it with 7-Up.
7-Up. That's it, 7-Up. Okay.
So now in 1840, soda counters were added to pharmacies because people like fizzy, bubbly drinks were seen to be like health tonics.
Yes.
So all these great flavors now that we're worried about rotting our teeth, doing things were, health tonics, not snake oil, but you went to the pharmacy and they would mix a little something for you. And it ended up being things like root beer, which came in 1876. And that has, I think, 20 different ingredients in it.
Yeah, there's a lot of even Dr. Pepper was 11 different flavors into Dr. Pepper. And that first came out of WACO, Texas. And it was originally sold as a brain tonic. And then the 10, 2, and 4 became some scientific study. Those are your lag times in your body chemistry. Then you need to pick me up.
And Dr. Pepper is there to pick you up.
Sugar hit, bang.
That's exactly right. And it was funny because Dr. Pepper was actually prior to Coca-Cola coming out too, which, it's an old American drink. People are still fascinated by it because you can't quite pick the flavor.
Yeah, and Dr. Pepper was
people think it's cherry, but it's not.
No, it came out in 1885. Dr. Pepper. That's what I got here.
Yeah.
And Coke was 1886.
That's right. Just pipped them.
1898 was Pepsi.
Yes.
And then one of our favorites, Cheerwine, 1917. That's a latecomer.
That is. Hey, do you know what?
Oh, what?
Hey, Pepsi Cola was called?
PepsiCo.
No, it was called Brad's Drink because the guy, the pharmacist, was, I think his last name was Bradman, and it was called, I'll come in and have Brad's Drink. So it's his little special little concoction. And Dr. Pepper had a little nickname as well. It was called a WACO.
A WACO.
I'll have a WACO.
A WACO.
Or not a WACO, a WACO.
Yep.
A WACO and a Brad. It's all sounding a little bit interesting when you go for there. Now, the first patent for a glass blowing machine used to make the glass bottles was in 1899.
So what came first, the glass bottle or the cap?
You tell me.
Well,
it has to be the bottle, and then you have to make a cap to go on it.
Yeah.
Well, okay, then why'd you ask me that?
Because I did read about it when the cap came up, but I didn't print it out.
Yes, the crown cap it was called, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's it.
And it only took 21 years for vending machines to appear. Yeah. So that was
make it easier, especially with all the roads and traveling starting to go on at that time. There.
So that has to tie in with refrigeration. So about the early 1900s, late 1800s, they had refrigerated train cars. So I'm guessing the refrigeration industry found a niche market as well. And then, it happened in the 50s. All the fun left us. Because then they produced the first no-calorie drink.
Oh, yeah. I can't drink no-calorie drink. If you're going to go for it, I got to go for it. Well, I look at it this way.
Tell me.
You need a degree in physics or chemistry to figure out what's in a non-calorie drink.
Yes,
okay,
right.
Where sugar is pure. It's a natural product.
And you know where it came from? A plant?
Yeah.
Well, Joan Collins. I love Alexis Carrington. She there's a great quote from her. They said, how do you stay so thin and fit? And it's like, do you drink? She goes, darling, do you ever see the French diet drinks? Yeah. You're going to have something, have it.
Exactly.
I thought if it's good enough for Alexis.
Yeah.
But we do.
And you know who's a big fan and probably a major shareholder of Coke? And he drinks cherry Coke every time you see him.
Who?
Warren Buffett. Not Jimmy Buffett.
Warren?
No, Warren Buffett.
Warren and his old caddy.
Yep.
Just taking.
Yeah, guy's like 90-something years old, and he's always drinking cherry Coke.
Hasn't killed him.
Nope. So
that money might not have hurt, but the cherry Coke, because he's a simple man. Like that. Diet Coke was produced in 1959. And then the funny little thing, do you remember, take yourself back to the 70s, probably 70s New York. You were there. People were worried about the impurities in tap water in big cities.
Didn't hit New York.
Well, that's when Perrier and the fancy French fizzy waters came into fashion because the yuppies loved it.
Yeah, well, that's why they call it yuppie water.
That's exactly right.
To go with their yuppie fish in their fishbowl.
wondering, we're a Pepsi family. Now, my mother was in love with Joan Crawford, who married the head of the Pepsi company. Yeah. And if you ever watch Mommy Dearest, after it went bad, that's when she was married to. So before that, my mom, we always had Pepsi, and she actually wrote a list of Joan Crawford's rules that she had for her children. She wrote a book before the movie came out about having to keep your clothes clean and all that. Mom thought it was fantastic, and then she apologized to me recently after she saw the movie. So Pepsi, affects everything in your waking life sometimes. Now we're going to go on to iconic drinks from each state. Now, we're not going to hit all 50.
No, that'd take too long. We'll be here for another 3 hours.
That's right. And God knows what we'll sound like at the end of that.
Yeah.
So what we'll do is we'll pick a few of our favorites and things that we know about or have had in the shop. And if we've missed your favorite, tell us why it's fantastic. Please, you can do that later. We'll talk to you about how to get a hold of us. Yeah. So we're going to just dive into,
Yeah, I'll dive into the first one because there's one here. I just love the name of it. And of course, it's from a state that nobody goes to or comes from. Montana, Big Sky Country. Right. The name of their soda company out there is Flathead Lake.
Right.
So do they make catfish soda?
Bait?
Bait? Yeah, bait soda. No, but they have huckleberry and sour cherry soda.
Oh, I like the sour cherry. We've had a huckleberry soda at work. I'm trying to think who made that.
Somebody.
The same people that do the key lime. And Alaska, now I'm going to disagree with this, and this is Pepsi again, must be my thing.
You just
goes right to it.
Yeah,
I'm even wearing blue and white today. See, I just need a bit of red, and I'll be perfect. Alaska is Pepsi, but really it's not. But that's where the largest bottling plant is. So, it didn't originate there, but that's where it arrives to us from.
And here's a confusing one.
Tell me.
Maryland.
Yes.
Or as they say in Australia, Maryland.
Maryland.
Can I have some Maryland chicken? Well, no, we don't have no Maryland. We got Maryland. No, Maryland. So, Shasta.
Oh, Shasta Cola.
Right. Now, you think of Shasta from
Mount Shasta. I think California.
Exactly. Or, up in West. I always thought Washington State.
Yes, that's right.
But no, it's Maryland.
Well,
give me a break.
It's bogus.
Yeah.
There must have been someone named Shasta.
But it's been named after a spring in California.
Well, because we're special.
Yes.
Here's something that we have at the moment at work, and people do enjoy it. It is Cactus Cooler. Mm-hmm. So that's sort of west. This is saying Arizona.
Yeah.
But it's really Southern California as well. I think it's sort of.
Well, it's very close together. You know that. Southern California, Arizona.
Nevada.
Yeah.
Not really.
It's like a few-hour drive.
Okay. Well, it's desert. I want to know where
desert. Well, half of California is a desert.
It is. That's why they're trying to. We have problems with water. There was a whole Jack Nicholson movie about that. Now, I have to say another one of my favorites because this was done in probably about. I think it's the next town over for me. A&W Root Beer.
Yeah.
Has that frosty mug taste. 1919. It was Roy Allen and Frank White. That's where you get the A&W, Allen and White. And their very first drive-in, because then they had burgers and everything else, is still there in the same spot in Lodi. And it is my favorite. I go for it in the fridge. And we used to joke about Lodi. There's nothing in Lodi except it's a good place to dump bodies and get repaired.
So like the Jersey of the West Coast.
It is a little bit prettier because I did go through the train through the Badlands, but that's my preferred root beer.
So did they make at the original A&W the no in Kansas they used to call it Black Cow, which was a root beer float?
Yes, and root beer freezes, which is like a thick shake made with root beer. And they actually used to. I remember going. You had the hops that you'd put your tray on your window. You roll your window down, put the tray there.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Out.
Yeah, they come out
cool.
with that.
I don't know if they still do that there, but they would do root beer freezes.
Well, Sonic still does that, and Sonic
cool.
is famous for their like I would say the Lime Ricky, but it's called
Cherry Limeade.
Cherry Limeade, which is the same thing. Yeah.
That is. I love that.
That was one of my son's favorite when we were
And Sonic.
Yes, he used to love that. Maybe because he was playing that game too, Sonic the Hedgehog.
That would be it.
Now, here's an interesting name.
Yep.
In New Hampshire. Now, they also got that funny accent. Yeah, New Hampshire. Squascot.
What?
Am I saying that right? That's
Did
the
you
name
sneeze?
of the show. Yeah,
Bless you.
Squascot.
Yeah. Squamscott.
Swampscott. I'm sure. Swampscott. You got any Swampscott?
What the hell is that?
Well, I guess that's their local bottler. So it comes in flavors like Birch Beer, strawberry, and mysterious half and half.
Ooh.
Or off and off. Yeah. Now, Birch Beer is a weird flavor. A lot of people can't get over Birch Beer because it smells like Bengay.
Well, it has like a root beery sort of feel to it, but it's a bit sharper, I think.
It's wintergreen.
Wintergreen fresh.
Yeah. It's like drinking Bengay. Yeah.
Well, maybe that's good if you've got eggs on the inside and outside. I
guess so.
Now, Georgia.
On my mind.
You do not need 3 guesses for that, because remember when we had the Atlanta Olympics sponsored by Coca-Cola?
Coca-Cola.
It is everywhere, and they've got a museum, they've got quilts, they've got streets named after it, they have got everything. I would think you'd probably be hard to find a Pepsi there.
Yeah, and New York.
Yes.
Dr. Brown's.
Oh, I love Dr. Brown's.
See, this is why the Jewish people would pass over. They don't have to go any further than Dr. Brown's.
Yes, because it's
kosher.
That's right. Mm-hmm. And they've got like the cherry as well as celery, which we'll talk about in a little bit, which I like. But I love Dr. Brown's soda. And glass bottles, everything's better in a glass bottle.
Everything, yeah.
Now, Indiana.
Like in Gary.
Triple X. It's famous for root beer, but it's just...
I don't know. It's sort of like, in over here in Australia, you got 4X beer.
Yes.
You know what a 4X is in America, don't you?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, Triple X, there's those movie
theaters. You both went to pharmacies to buy them.
That's right. And Triple X, there used to be those movie theaters around town that, I don't want to go near those.
Oh, who's that? Why can't that guy's wearing a trench coat? It's hot and sunny outside and it's not raining.
Iowa. Now, we have this brand, and I do love this as well, Sioux City. Sioux City Sarsaparilla.
Now, Sioux City is owned by White Rock, and we'll get into that later.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
White Rock is good, but sarsaparilla, I remember being able to get that, like when we used to go to like a cowboy town, and they'd have you go to the bar with the swinging doors, and they'd have sarsaparilla. That's the only place you can get it.
And could you tell the difference between sarsaparilla and root beer?
Not really. No. It's probably
it's hard to tell. I don't know about that thing. And Texas?
Yes.
Can't go by Texas without going back to Waco.
That's right. And get your Dr. Pepper.
Dr. Pepper. And for a while there, we were carrying Dublin Dr. Pepper. And that's a whole big story.
Yeah.
Because when it was like just a small company and they opened up the Dublin bottling plant, which is like in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, because we used to get the Easter wrap stuff in the local paper. So we'd read the local papers. You'd see the king and queen of the prom.
Yeah, it's a 2-horse town.
That's right.
It really is. And I when we were buying from that, I did have the fortunate thing to go and meet all the people down there. Very hospitable. They had a little museum shop and place where you buy stuff, and the bottling they still had the old bottling machines there and everything, which I think they only used like once a year because most of all the product was made for them out in Waco,
right?
Okay, which was a neighboring town. But when they were bought over, when the other company came in and the big conglomerate started buying up all these businesses and stuff, so the first one that owned them, everything was fine. They were able to still call Dublin Dr. Pepper because they did it on a handshake.
Right.
Okay, that they could still produce it the original way with sugar and not with corn syrup. And that allowed them to differentiate themselves by calling it Dublin Dr. Pepper because it's made from out of that plant. So then another company came in, bought them out again. I think might have been the one with either Schweppes or it could have been, then it got bought out again with a conglomerate with mixed Snapple and a few other companies into it. the guys in the suits said, "No, you can't do this anymore. You can't change the logo," and and that was the end of it.
That was sad.
Yeah. And everybody was in an uproar because they had a big following, and they got them on like a technicality. Oh, you're selling it outside of your bottling zone.
Well, and like they posed no threat
exactly
to it, and we had customers that were loyal customers for Double and Dr. Pepper, and waiting for the next shipment to come, and it was really hard to break it to all those people.
Yeah,
that everyone can stick it to the man, because that was just awful. Now, I love this drink. It reminds me of like a chinato or chinato, Moxie, and that's from Maine. So we've had that in.
Yes,
and I
think we still have.
Do we have it in at the moment? It should be back if we don't.
Sort of also like knee-high.
Yes, that's right. So
great.
Radar O'Reilly. I was so excited because I didn't see knee-high soda until I was in USAFoods, and I was like, Radar O'Reilly. It was his favorite.
Now, here we go to Michigan.
Yes.
All right, and we got Faygo on the list. Like, isn't Faygo in North Dakota?
That's Fargo.
Oh,
that's Fargo with the wood chipper.
Okay.
And already then.
But probably to me, the most famous thing that comes out of there that most people would want that come from Michigan is not Faygo.
Mm-hmm.
It's Vernon's.
Yes.
Vernon's ginger ale, which tastes a lot different than Canada Dry or the ginger ale you get here in Australia. It has its own taste to it.
Yeah, it's very sharp. It's
sharp. It's sort of like woody. I think it's the way they process it and stuff. So yeah, it has its own thing, and it's still made in Detroit, Rock City.
That's right. And we have people that will buy cases of it at a time when it comes back in. Also, a very good mixer.
Yeah.
That's because it doesn't taste too, even though it's sweet, it's not too sugary. It's got a good one to it.
And it has a bit of a bite, but not an overbite, because a lot of the difference between, I think, the American type ginger ales and the Australian is much sharper with a lot more ginger.
Yes.
Okay. And if you mix it with bourbon or something like that, well, I don't want to taste the ginger ale. I want to taste the bourbon.
That's right.
And the ginger ale is going along for the ride.
Yeah. That's exactly right.
Yeah. So.
You've taken all the papers.
I've taken all the papers. Oh, sorry.
Oh, that's all right.
What are you talking about here?
Where? Oh, okay. This is my favorite. Yes. My favorite is Cheerwine. Now, that's North Carolina. And it's definitely Virginia, too, this says. But I don't know the history of that. Some Virginian or North Carolinian can fill me in on that. But it's a cherry soda. It's sort of has a narrow market originally, but we had a customer come in just in tears. I know I've said that a few times, but she was so happy. You really see a taste of home.
Yeah, when they come in, they haven't seen something for so long.
It is so nice.
So excited.
It is, and it's just like a real because they don't see it that far out of their own area in the States, let alone to come all the way over here and find it.
Yes.
And what's a Big Red is another one, which is a Texas soda. So that's strawberry, isn't it?
Strawberry vanilla, really sweet.
Yeah, that one makes your teeth hurt.
Yes, exactly.
And we've had in Wisconsin the Sprecher root beer. So we've had the Sprecher. Isn't it raspberry soda we've had?
Yeah, that's a raspberry.
Yeah, so that is a Wisconsin brand. Oh, Utah. Sorry, I'm taking over, but Utah's I don't want to make
Donnie and Marie.
That's right. So it's a little bit. I don't want to say
a little bit country, a little bit,
and a little bit bland. I'm not. I don't want to offend anyone, but it is bland, and it's Sprite. Oh. And you know what? I bet you no caffeine. So
there's no caffeine in some up. Neither.
Well, Utah has the big LDS where they can't have caffeine in their drinks, so it makes sense.
And they can't mix bourbon in there.
No, there's definitely no bourbon, and I'm not sure if there's dancing. But
I'm not going to Utah. I don't care how good the snow is.
Oh, but they're good at was it Dutch oven cooking and lime jello, which I learned from the Olympics that were in Salt Lake, and Donnie and Marie, and that's about it, really. Sorry.
And the rest of the Osmonds.
Well, yes, it was Jimmy the Baby. I actually saw the Osmonds in concert. I can't believe I'm admitting that, but it was nice.
Okay. So we got through that, and how about let's go to the next topic here. Enough with the states. Oddball flavors.
Oh, yes. So this is good. So back to what I was saying before I was rudely interrupted.
Yes.
Yes.
And we got lots of these oddball flavors.
Oh, and it's so funny because you're like, ooh. Okay, so one that we don't have, but it's a Japanese one, which is salty watermelon Pepsi. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I don't know why you'd want salt in your Pepsi unless you had some tequila in it, maybe. But the watermelon, I don't know. But let's go on to.
How about the Jones holiday flavored sodas?
This is fantastic. Every year they do a new pack.
Yeah. So you don't have to go out and make a turkey and all the fixings. You just buy 6 bottles of soda.
Yes.
And you're done.
Yes, because they come in turkey and gravy, wild herb stuffing, Brussels sprout. Can't wait to
try that
one. Green pea, broccoli, and sweet potato. Oh, well, and for the vegans out there, my daughter, if you're listening, they've got a tofurkey and gravy flavored one. Isn't the idea of tofurkey to try to make it taste like turkey? So why would you have a tofurkey? Okay.
Yeah, whatever. Okay. And to go with it, to finish it up, they have the antacids flavored soda.
Which I read a little bit about. Yeah. Do you know what flavor it is? Like, really?
Oh.
Pepto-Bismol.
Pepto-Bismol.
Oh, gosh. I love that.
And then Lester's. We had some Lester's in before.
We have.
Yeah.
We have.
They have a Lester's Fixins Ranch Dressing Soda. And how about Rocket Fizzy Chocolate Soda? Chocolate soda. Now, that's also something that I had as a kid from the candy store, because they would just get seltzer and mix it with chocolate syrup.
That's exactly right. And I like that chocolate soda. I've had that, and all it needs is a scoop of ice cream in it to be perfect.
And then they make bacon and chocolate.
So it's smoky chocolate.
And Lester's also had the buffalo wing soda and the sweet corn soda. I know we didn't get the sweet corn soda. Maybe good.
That's a good thing. But the buffalo wing, I wonder how many people bought it and it's just sitting in the pool room right now.
Yeah. Well, so going back to the sweet corn soda, and if you go to a Korean restaurant, they make corn soup. It's like a broth.
Yes.
And it's basically, or no, sorry, not a soup. It's a tea.
Right, a corn tea.
A corn tea.
Ooh. I would like to try that because it's naturally sweet, but I don't know if I'd want it fizzy. So I would go, we've got beef drinker teriyaki beef jerky soda. I don't even.
I can't even.
I don't know where you start. No. You got soy, you got some smoke, tree bark, Malby?
Malby Fizz, tree bark flavor soda. It depends on the tree. Now, I hope they get it from at least.
A bit up?
Yeah, a bit up the tree, because there might be dogs around. Yeah.
Oh, God.
You open up a bottle of soda, next thing the dogs are all sniffing us up.
Charlie was there last week. I'm hoping it tastes like sarsaparilla root beer, because that is a bark and a root that they use as well. Yeah. Here's my favorite.
Always ask for it.
Avery's Kitty Piddle.
Oh, no.
He's drunk uncle who came up with that. It's a citrus soda, so it looks yellow. I think that's where the joke came from. Avery makes a very nice pumpkin pie soda, which I like. Mm-hmm. But Kitty Piddle, I don't know how I even feel about that. It's, it's like, Earl, Kitty Piddle spill, aisle 12. Here's one. What's the next one? You do that one.
The sour diesel THC infused canna Cocola. So THC infused. So available wherever medical marijuana is sold.
It's weed soda. Yeah. I guess it would be herbaceous.
Yeah.
Here we go. Speaking of when we're talking about the Korean restaurant, they have
kimchi.
Ramen kimchi flavored soda. So ginger chili.
So Ramon, is that like Ramon and In Korean?
I don't know. And here's one I love.
Dr. Brown.
Dr. Brown's Celery soda. It's celery flavored soda.
Yeah, it tastes sort of like a ginger ale.
It does. And it's got this really nice, spicy sort of flavor to it. And I love it.
Coming from New York, I'll give you another oddball flavor. We had in New York, or still have, and it's been around since 1895. Still one of the original family-owned beverage companies left. The other one is that I know of is White Rock,
right?
Also out of New York, and they make Manhattan Special, which is an espresso coffee soda.
It's fantastic too.
It is. It's a little bottle. It's only a 10-ounce bottle. Have one of those. It's like having 6 shots of espresso with all the sugar you want into it. They do make sugar-free one. But if you want to get wired, it'll just get you going. The other thing that I like about it, I like mixing it with vanilla ice cream.
Oh, yeah, that would be. It's like affogato.
And yesterday I was watching this show on television, and they were mixing espresso. So you get the espresso, pour it right out, ice cream, and then pour the espresso on top of it. And then they crumbled up. Remember those little almond cookies?
Yes, Amaretti ones.
Yeah, you crumble it out, you put it in, and you got to eat it right away. You got the hot, the cold, and the crunchy all in one go. And you got the same thing with this. And the other thing, now I have met the young lady who runs the business now. She's like the 3rd or 4th generation, her and her brother.
That's awesome.
And the unfortunate thing was when they were only 13, her and her brother were basically forced into the business because their father was murdered.
Oh, God.
Yeah. They were up in the Catskills, the Jewish Alps, spending the summer up there. And it was a robbery that went wrong.
Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah, it was terrible. Yeah. So, but they kept it going, but it's hand brewed and they use pure sugar. And it's, we've been trying to get it back in again, but, with COVID and everything, it's been pretty hard, but it is so good.
And we haven't forgotten it, so we will keep trying to get it back in.
We have one customer out there, Giovanni.
Yep, Giovanni.
Who loves it, and if he's listening to this, we're still fighting to get it.
And they actually, before last time we had it, they had rebranded a little bit, and the label was beautiful.
Yes,
it's nice gold, very classy bottle.
Yeah. Now I'll go one other thing that comes out of the soda fountain out of New York, and everybody probably hears about it, but they don't know what it is a egg cream.
Yes, I told you my story about. I heard it in the Lords of Flatbush.
Yep.
Good slice Delane at his best, and I was going, I wonder what that was.
So it became popular because of everybody just mixing stuff up. So what they were doing, like in the candy store, they will shot of syrup, and it's usually You Bet, or we used to call it Bet. So You Bet syrup, and I have a bottle of it hidden in my closet, and we could bring it in, but it by the time it gets here and all this other stuff, it'd be quite expensive. I don't know if anybody would buy it.
Right, fair enough.
So anyway, so you mix it with some milk, pour a little bit of seltzer into it. So you got to buy plain seltzer, not club soda, because club soda has salt in it.
Okay.
And stir it again, and then you pour the rest of the soda in, and it comes up with a creamy head.
Nice.
Yeah. So that came about in 1880s by Louis Oster, is the person who put that together.
And so it's just like a New York thing.
Yeah. And somebody written a story. I've written it down someplace about if you something about, I can't remember now, so forget it. But they were selling something like 3,000 egg creams a day, for 3 cents.
Oh,
that was the other thing. Yeah, so that was the other thing. But Fox You Bet syrup is the only chocolate syrup used in making a true egg cream.
Okay. But I can fake it with some Hershey's.
You can fake it with Hershey's.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
I'll have to give that a go.
Now, the other weird one
that
you reminded me before, speaking of Dr. Pepper.
Yes.
Hot Dr. Pepper.
Oh, yes.
In the wintertime.
Yes.
I remember the ads coming on and, people making hot Dr. Pepper. And if you never made one, wait till the winter comes. Get a thing of Dr. Pepper. You got to put it into a little saucepan, warm it up, and then with an orange slice into it.
My cousin, I have a vivid memory of my cousin Donna Jo. and she had a little saucepan. I was at my aunt Jo's. Her mom was Aunt Jo. Hi Stevie, my cousin. So you'd sit there and she'd heat it up, but she used lemon, but I'll try orange. And I'm like, I'm not sure about that. She's like, come on, try it. And it was so good. It was good. It is. It's sort of spicy and a very nice alternative to like a hot cider. I love that.
Okay, so move on to seltzers.
I love seltzers, but we have different experiences with seltzers.
Well, seltzer was always there on the fountain, because that was just, you could just have it. And usually you have it seltzer when you weren't feeling too well. Sometimes it just like makes you regurgitate.
Well, I do.
Burp. It's another word.
I do think of the Three Stooges hitting each other with a seltzer bottle.
Now, I have a seltzer. I have one seltzer bottle at home that I bought from some antique store, right?
Does it have the chain on the outside of the
No,
middle?
it doesn't have a chain. No, it's just, it's like a bluish color.
Yes.
And I remember as a kid, because people used to get seltzer delivered, in a box.
Right.
And I think it was like 12 bottles in there. And we used to, they used to leave them out by the door. But of course, the kids, we have to go play with them, right?
Yes.
So they were empty. But remember throwing them down from at least 1 story high with all that we had, and they would not break. They would break. These bottles, I don't know what type of glass they use them, but they were bulletproof.
Yeah.
They did not break.
That is unbelievable. But what happens to the poor person if they tried to open it or spray it?
No. These were empty. These were
empty ones.
These are empty ones. Yes.
It would be more fun to throw a full one, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I guess so.
Maybe
but it'd be dangerous, yeah.
Oh, because you thought of danger back then when you were doing that.
Oh, yeah. In fact, how it was, I remember. So we used to go in the backyard of the apartment buildings.
Yes.
And to get to, to get to the basement, where the furnaces and all that was another step down, 1 flight lower, below ground. So that was exposed. That was outside in the backyard. So that's where I know that we were throwing it down that area there. So it was all encompassed. So even if it broke, it didn't really go anywhere.
Right.
So with safety,
you were safety first.
Yes,
that's right.
It's like when we were riding our bikes, no helmets, no seat belts,
nothing. Nothing. It's survival of the fittest.
Yeah. So let's go back to seltzers.
Yes.
Now seltzer is getting, as you said before, more and more popular because it has come and gone. Because one of the ones we sell, which is very, very popular, and it's pronounced La Croix, is so popular, and it has been, this is probably the 3rd or 4th go at making seltzer with essence. And for whatever reason, they hit it.
I think Pinterest had a lot to do with it. I think people seeing things on TV. And now my experience with seltzer, so I wasn't trying to kill anyone with the seltzer bottle, but take your mind back to the 80s. Everything was brightly colored. Yep. I'd be able to get in my 1980 Honda Civic, drive to the bagel kitchen, have my lunch, and they sold the New York seltzers because a bagel is a New York thing,
right?
Sort of thing. So we had New York seltzers. So little bottles like the White Rock bottles that we had. And Clearly Canadian was the other one. So opposite of LaCroix that we have now, this was, you could taste the sugar in it.
Yeah, it had sugar.
It had sugar and it had flavor, but it was beautiful. And I think there's a whole bunch of Gen X's that were just maybe getting a little bit nostalgic. Yeah. And those have come back. And the LaCroix.
Well, it's also a healthier option. There's no sodium. There's no sugar.
And we joke about
flavor. No.
We joke about it at work because I actually quite like LaCroix. And I bought a 6-pack of the cherry or 8-pack of the cherry limeade. And I said to Sean, I'm going to stick this in the fridge. Should I put my name on it? He goes, no one's going to steal that.
That's probably one of the nicest flavors.
It's beautiful. It is just like a whisper of flavor.
I haven't tried the lemon jello.
I haven't tried that yet either. That'll be my next. And there's no calories. There's no flavoring. Terrible.
So you don't feel guilty about it.
You don't, which has gone into the adult beverage market with White Claw, which is a hard seltzer. Mm-hmm. So it's all, and Australia's jumped on the bandwagon with a few brands as well. So it's something like 100 calories.
Yeah, and you got Budweiser Pure now.
Yep.
So everybody's getting on the alcoholic seltzer.
Actually, there's one, I forgot the brand of it, but it's 8% alcohol. So it might be a little can that looks
pretty good.
Looks like it's not dangerous.
And the other one we missed is Michael Bublé.
Oh yes, that was really nice tasting
Yes,
too.
we'll have to get those back.
So yeah, it was BUBBLY, bubbly.
Bubbly.
And he does the ad for it. That's quite a cute.
I think he has his fingers into it too.
Oh well, that would make sense. You
Yes.
can only have so much Christmasville.
Yeah. So now we're going to talk about things that are familiar that you can find in the past or currently.
Yep.
At USAFoods.
And we do have quite a good selection that we kind of rotate through. So if something doesn't come back for a while, that doesn't mean it won't be back. It just means we make some room for some other things to have it shelved.
Yeah, one of them is, and it's not even on the list here, but the first thing that comes to mind that runs in and out is Fresca.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. People they come in and buy 10, 12 packs at a time.
It's just like, it's a hit or miss because it is a diet-based soft drink. So it has a lesser date on it. So we don't bring in that much because it goes out of date. Then everybody thinks that, well, wait a minute, it's past 1 minute past the day that it goes best by. Can't drink it anymore. But anyway, that's the reason why that one there is, it limited. Comes in and out. Yeah,
it's a grapefruit flavor. And it's funny because if you look on the can and on the 12-pack, there's very little that says it's diet anything. It's just Fresca.
Yeah, I think it does have calories in it, but it's very low calorie.
Yeah, and evidently, when you fly Air Mexico, you can get their welcome drink at one point was Fresca and tequila.
Ooh,
that would be all right.
Yes, it's sort of like I like TNT. It's the Aussie version of tequila.
Which is what?
Tequila and tonic. TNT. Akadaka, come on.
Sorry. Dynamite, I gotcha.
Yeah. So we'll just give you a quick rundown of some of, why don't we you just want to go like the real off the wall ones? We'll start with Lemonade.
Oh, yummy and funny.
Yes. Yummy and funny is right. Now, Lemonade is made by this fella down in South California, Southern California, right? And he's like a surfer dude. And he came up with this flavor. So it's like tangerine and ginger. And he made a trip to Australia, which I didn't know until I started talking to him, to source out the ginger for the product. Wow. Yeah.
It's a good product. But their slogans are like, get hammered and sickled.
Yeah, because there's a picture of Lennon. For people who haven't seen it, you should look it up. Yeah. There's a picture of Lennon, not John Lennon. No. The other Lennon. On the bottle, drinking the bottle up, and he puts all these little sayings on the box and the bottle, and even where he puts the coating, instead of putting coating of like with a date or whatever, he does it by other little sayings.
Oh, I haven't looked that close. I need new glasses, but I do like it's a drink worth waiting in line for.
Yes, that's the other one, and you can, if you mix it with vodka, that's a cosmonaut. That's what it's called. And that's where you get hammered and sickled.
I like that.
Yeah, so he has a really great sense of humor.
Yeah, you can read the bottle when you know how you used to read the cereal box when you were a kid?
Yes.
You do that with the lemonade bottle.
And it's sort of, I put it on the same category, and if you don't want to have an alcoholic drink to it, with vodka. It's on the same category like when you go out and you have a lemon lime and bitters.
Yes.
It's in the same category as that.
As like a sophisticated sort of taste to it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we do carry Mexican bottled Cokes and Pepsi and Fantas and different flavors of that. And that is a big thing because it's made with
pure sugar.
That's right. So people want that rather than the corn syrup. And it's also in a glass bottle, a nice tall bottle.
Yeah, and it's a very heavy glass. It's the old school glass bottle, so you need a bottle opener to open it. So it's not a screw top that has that really thin, awful way to drink out of it. And it just keeps on going and going. Mexican Coke, it's just, and surprising, you go to a lot of places like a grocery store or Walmart in California, and they'll have the bottles of Mexican Coke next to the bottles of domestic Coke. Right. And the Mexican Coke's like $1 cheaper, for a case. How's that work out?
I don't know.
And then we also bring in Mexican 7-Up.
Yes, we do. I will never be able to say that right again. And, on the Mexican brand, Jarritos. Which have some really cool flavors. Like, there's one called Jamaica, and that's sort of prune flavored.
Ooh.
Which sounds weird, but tastes very nice.
Got to get some and go.
That's right.
And, of course, then we have like some of the like Stewart's, came out of the local drive-ins, wherever they were. They weren't in New York. See, like the things you talk about before about going into the pharmacies and having soda, that was never in New York.
Right.
Never seen anything like that.
See, this is why we're a good duo.
Well, FW Woolworths probably would have been the closest thing to that. But then that was
did you have like a lunch counter?
In Woolworths.
Yeah, and we had that too. In Tracy, I saw a photo of it.
Yeah, and Virgil's. Virgil's is like the premium.
Yeah, it's a modern brand. So 94, 94, and then Hank's as well is 95, and they. Yeah, it's a premium, different, just a little bit more special tasting, depending on what they do. Mm-hmm. Also, we have, thanks to Harry Potter, we get different versions of butter beer or butterscotch beer. So Flying Cauldron. So that's a nice flavor if you're looking for something a little bit different. And, actually, can I just jump in with one more? Because you know me. My husband's favorite, Cock and Bull.
Yeah, we haven't had that in a while.
We need that back because it's the ginger in it is so gingery, it almost burns you, in a good way.
Exactly.
But it was made to make Moscow mules with. Yeah. So it's perfect for that. But it's like there's nothing like it. That is probably my favorite ginger ale.
And the weirdest cola.
Yeah. Oh, I know what you say. Go
Inca.
Ahead. Yes.
Inca Dinka bottle of ink. Cork fell out and you stink. So Inca Cola is made in Peru, I believe.
That's correct.
Yeah, and it's yellow.
It is yellow, and
it doesn't taste like cola.
No, it tastes like bubble gum, really.
Yeah.
But I just found out what the ingredient is, that the flavor, lemon verbena.
What is that?
It's bubblegum flavored something. But I didn't know. I like that in my tea. Like I've had lemon verbena tea, but it is like nothing you have ever had before. So if you want to try something really different.
So the cola might come out of something like, because they call anything that's carbonated there in Peru cola.
Could be. Could absolutely be. Yeah. And it's cola spelled with a K, not a C. So maybe that's it. Like milk with the Y.
Milk with a Y?
Well,
there's no Y in milk.
Almond milk. Almond milk, all that. They call it, don't upset the dairy farmers.
Yes, I agree with the dairy farmers on that.
And we have RC Cola in at the moment, which I said is my mom's favorite, and the Cactus Cooler.
Yeah. See, like RC Cola is sort of like a Mexican cola. It's heavier. It's more velocity into it or whatever.
That's right. And it does not taste like the colas that you get, when you go to a wedding and you get a jug of cola on the table. Yeah.
For a limited time, they were making Pepsi throwback.
Yes.
In the old 70s type cans, done to the older formula. And that, to me, was the best tasting cola we had recently.
Yeah, it's lovely. I had one on the weekend. I got one Friday when I left work.
We have it back in again?
RC, yeah.
No, RC. No, Pepsi throwback.
No,
I don't think that. I think they only did it for a short time.
No, we get Mountain. I think
Mountain Dew throwback.
Throwback. Maybe we should just look into that. Well, not a soda, but Arnold Palmer, which is the half and half, half lemonade, half iced tea.
Yes.
And it's yummy and refreshing. And Arnie is on the bottle.
Yeah. And good thing whenever we're able to travel back to America, and you go to Cracker Barrel or whatever, now they want to change the Cracker Barrel name. Why? I can't understand that. I still am puzzled with somebody's aunt being on the box and somebody's uncle being on the box. I just can't relate to why they want to take those people off the boxes.
Well,
see, because to me, when I grew up, there was somebody's aunt, there was somebody's uncle.
Yes, and to a bunch of other people, it wasn't.
So why don't we cancel the other people and not cancel the history of it? There you go.
Right. I think we're talking about sodas, Phil. So
yes, we are soda. Yeah, okay. We'll go back to soda.
When we talk about pancakes, it might come up again.
Yes, okay. Maybe because I was brought up correctly. Okay.
Oh, Philip.
Yes.
Philip.
Dr. Pepper and cream soda, that's new.
Yes.
I haven't tried that yet, but everybody says it's great.
It's really nice. I had it the other day. It's sort of, when you first taste it, you think, oh, that's like a vanilla Dr. Pepper.
Yeah.
But then the taste of the aftertaste, it's really cream soda-ish. So it's quite an excellent mix. And we've also got a few others I'll just yell out. Cheer Wine, Soda Boys, and Oso. So those were sort of newish coming in.
Yes.
There's an absinthe one as well, which I quite like. Jackson Hole sodas. We've got the Sioux Cities in.
Bubble Up.
Bubble Up. Yes, we do have Bubble Up. And, of course, A&W Root Beer. And I'm just thinking, what else is in that shelf?
Probably have some other weird ones in here.
Vernors.
Oh, Vernors.
Yep.
Vernors.
And we have Vernors in bottles, too.
And Frosty. Thanks from the gallery.
Yep. Okay.
Now, we'll talk about some TV ads.
Hmm.
Now, the theme is there any other method than like teenage love or sex to sell soda? Because really,
it all revolves around
it
that.
does. I was looking at all these ads, and there's like girls in convertibles and guys skateboarding by, or there's Matt LeBlanc before he was Joey on Friends, sort of just waiting for a girl to come out of the soda shop.
It just reminded me of another act because it's non-food.
Yes.
Joe Namath with the Noxzema commercial. Noxzema's shave cream.
Yes.
Yeah.
Joe Namath in his pantyhose.
Yeah, well, that was to keep himself warm.
Yes, I remember that. Joe was well rounded.
Yes.
And we've got there's Coke ads during the Super Bowl. There's usually not this year, but there's usually big soda ads as well that sort of make their way out.
Well, my favorite one was what we looked at the other week when we're talking about Super Bowl ads with the Osmonds and the Osborns.
Osborns. That's right. And
Sharon.
and
that was it. So anybody wants to? That was a 7-Up commercial.
Pepsi Twist.
Oh,
Pepsi Twist.
So Pepsi Twist. Look it up. Google it.
And find that ad.
And find it. You'll
funny.
laugh. It's so funny, especially at the end.
And Brendan was saying here in Australia, so we didn't grow up here, so we don't know. He said every summer there was a new soda ad, like a big, and I'm thinking probably on the lines of the big Coke ad, I like to buy the world of Coke, which they sort of rejigged that every few years to change it.
And originally came out with the hippie generation.
Yes, that's right.
Because it was everybody peace, love, and Coca-Cola. Support the big man. Yes.
That's exactly right.
Corporate America is, we're with you. Peace, love.
Now, which we were talking, if anyone hasn't watched Mad Men and hasn't seen the last episode, just either watch it and then come back, or I'm sorry, because it's been out for a while. But, Don Draper, who was an ad man, he played around. He was tough. And all of a sudden, his career went to hell in a handbasket. And the 70s didn't agree with the 60s and 50s.
Right.
So all of a sudden, you see him and you think, maybe has he changed? And he's sitting on a top of a hill and he's, cross-legged doing meditation with these other group of hippies. And you see him all of a sudden have this little smile because the little admin head was working. And next thing you see is that Coca-Cola ad. I like to buy the world of Coke. Yeah. So it is a great part of our culture.
Mm-hmm. And then there's some jingles that just go on forever.
I'm a pepper. Dr. Pepper.
I'm a pepper. You're a pepper.
Wouldn't you like to be a pepper too? I remember skipping to that in the schoolyard. And David Naughton, he was the American Werewolf in London. He was the guy that was the Dr. Pepper guy. Yeah. I remember.
See, we didn't have Dr. Pepper in New York till, I don't know, maybe the late 70s or 80s.
We had a whole bunch of fake Dr. Well, look, no offense.
Shafter.
Dr. Pibb. Or Mr. Pibb, Dr. something else, Dr. Nut. What the hell? But they tasted like
Dr. Pepper.
So it was all very strange. So the TV ads, probably the biggest promotion that I can remember, and we have touched on this in the past, was Back to the Future. So with the cherry Pepsi, like you could buy it at the fountain when you went in and got your popcorn. It was placed all through the movie, and it was I suppose, again, I'm the Pepsi generation.
Yes, you are. Okay, so that takes us to our soda break. So we're going to go pop up a few sodas.
Yep.
And we'll come back with our secret code. Okay, back after the soda fizz. And guess what the secret word is?
I don't know.
No,
How could I guess?
You know it. It's fizz. Like in Fizz Farm, but it's just a fizz. Okay. Now, we always have a Alex Trebek question.
We do. A moment. Yes.
The music maestro. White Rock. Yes. Very old, still family-owned company. They also own Sioux City. started in 1871.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so who was president in 1871?
Alex, I'm going to have to pass.
Okay.
Who was 1871?
Grant.
Really?
Yeah. And also, guess who was robbing banks in 1871?
Was it Jesse?
Jesse James.
Sorry, I'll take the Old West for $500.
Yes, okay.
Do you know, I'm sorry, Jesse
Yep.
James, I have a relative, John Wesley Hardin.
Wow.
He was so mean, he shut a man in his sleep.
Didn't Traffic do a whole album, John Wesley Hardin?
I don't know, but I need to look that up.
Yeah.
My music producer will check that for us later. Now, we have to say, if you want to come in and see the cornucopia of colas that we have, you can come to 73 Cochrane's Road, Moorabbin. Now, we're still doing daylight savings hours, so I'll run through them Monday through Thursday, 10 to 5, Friday, 10 to 8, Saturday, 10 to 5 again, and Sunday, 11 to 4.
And if you want to communicate with us, we're at podcasts@usafoods.com.au. We welcome all your...
Any and all.
Yes.
And I talked to a few people actually when little chat bubble that we have on our website, and we have a couple of listeners that said they enjoyed our podcast and they had heard us, which was very lovely. And now I've got a little bit of feedback. Leslie, our favorite listener, who's also your biggest fan.
I know.
Because she said...
I'll have to send her one of those black and white autographed photos.
You do? Oh, that's what we need. We need to get shots. She was very upset with our producer, Blue Steel, because she said Phil really should have had pizza there for him. That was very, very thoughtless of us to record late in the evening and not have dinner provided.
Yes.
Our green quote, "You need to improve the green room," was the quote. So, she didn't care about my dietary requirements or anything, but she wanted to make sure you were okay.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Lisa.
She's good. And now, Mom came in. We'll talk briefly. The way she was taught to make an ice cream soda. So what you do, she said, because Pop Rose was cheap, but you put a little squirt, like a half a squirt of chocolate syrup at the bottom, because she said the soda glasses are narrow at the bottom, wide at the top. Then a scoop of ice cream, and then you cut it with a knife and mix it till it's almost liquid. Then you had to put, you put more soda, so it kind of raised it up. Another scoop of ice cream with chocolate syrup, and then more soda, and then a scoop of ice cream on top. And she said that's the way she was taught to do it.
Sounds good.
It did sound good. And she said the most popular Cokes were chocolate and cherry. Yep. So she would make chocolate and cherry Cokes for people. And then we were talking about it. I remember I heard of a lemon Coke, which I'd never heard of, and in Streetcar Named Desire. Oh. Because Vivian Lee, when she's playing Blanche, sent her sister, Stella, "Go off to the pharmacy and get me a lemon Coke with lots of chipped ice, will you?" Ooh. Yes. And I was like, "Ooh, lemon Coke." That's the only thing I think of with movies. I was like, "Oh, I have to try that." You're not thinking of Stella. No, because Marlon, no. I was just thinking of the food. I'm probably looking at see what's on the table for the game. So that is our feedback of this week. Well, we got one more. Oh, yes, we do. Yeah. The lovely Rachel. Rachel called and commented. Yes. On putting the little playback of Norman into our broadcast, because the whole story goes, Norman, my brother-in-law, sweetest guy ever, introduced me to the Chiefs. Unfortunately, that didn't work out too good this week. But all his family calls him Gary, or actually Geary, as we were saying. But we were introduced to him as Norman, so that stuck. That's exactly right. And me being a kid, because my sister's older than me and whatever. Oh, no. Norman. She already complained about that once. So Rachel said he absolutely hated that song. So Rachel, I know, but as a kid, I used to always sing that song, and I know he hated it. And that's how much he loved you. He
Yeah,
still kept you around.
He's kept me around.
That is beautiful.
Yes.
Now, we will go on now to our regular Nat Nosh.
Nosh. Okay. First off, on Wednesday, February the 18th, Crab Stuffed Flounder Day. So, now, I remember, and I haven't had a crab stuffed flounder in probably over 30 years.
Right.
That was a staple.
Staple?
Not stable. Staple.
No, stables where horses are, not flounders.
Yep. At the local Greek diner.
Really?
In Jersey. Okay. It was always on the menu. It was always like one of the specials. So like for, $7.99, you get a flounder and it had like this big lump in it. That was the stuffing. And then filled with, covered up with paprika. And it wasn't too bad. But that was the last time I had.
I didn't know it deserved a day. I've personally never seen it.
It probably came out in sometime in 1972. And somebody, let's do this, because I'm sure most of the places, some of them probably would have made it fresh. Most of it would have been frozen,
Yes.
And probably the people that were freezing it came and said, let's make a day out of this. Yes.
I'm waiting for the day that we get apricot chicken day.
That's probably next Tuesday. And also on the same day is Drink Wine Day.
Woohoo!
I don't need a day for that.
No, that's all the days.
All days.
All the days. And before noon, it's champagne. So, sparkling wine. So it's all day. And tomorrow, we've got National Chocolate Mint Day. So you've got mint chip ice cream, I'm guessing. And maybe it's the flavor or Little Andy's mints.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of chocolate mints. Once in a while, I'll have the Junior mints.
Yeah, I like that. I like the waxy chocolate on it. I like how it's like sort of, but I like mint chip ice cream, but it has to be artificially colored with green food coloring.
Yeah. And then Friday on the 20th.
Yes.
This has to do with President's Day.
Yes.
Cherry Pie Day.
That is right.
And
George did not cut down that cherry tree.
Yeah, now they don't have a separate holiday for him. They combine him and Lincoln together.
That's right.
It's President's Day.
That's exactly right. God forbid that there's another public holiday. And it makes me think of Twin Peaks. Did you ever watch it? Cherry Pie?
The last Twin Peaks I went to was in North Carolina.
Okay, right. Phil, I'm moving on.
Okay.
But yes, if you ever watch Twin Peaks, the show, he always he would go to the diner and he's like, that's a damn fine cup of coffee, and he'd have a piece of cherry pie with it. And National Muffin Day.
Muffins are good. It's like cake.
It's a cake. Yes. That's exactly right.
Okay. And we'll keep on going. We had a little interference in the background. Saturday, 21st, is National Sticky Bun Day.
Yum.
Whose buns are sticky?
Oh, my God. Right. I'm moving on to my favorite day of the
year.
Yes. National Margarita Day.
All right. And this is not margarita pizza, but it could go really good with margarita pizza.
That's right. You need the top shelf is my fave. Now, Monday, the 23rd, we've got Banana Bread Day. Yeah. Toast Day. Who needs Toast Day?
You know how toast came about?
An accident?
Almost, because they had to do something with leftover bread. And so you toast it.
Okay. But does it need a date?
Yeah. And Dog Biscuit Appreciation. Now, how do we appreciate dog? Do we eat it? Yeah. I shouldn't tell you this.
Tell me.
But as a kid,
I
used to eat dog biscuits that my cousins fed. Oh, Phil, try this one. Yeah, okay. It's a bit crunchy,
Evidently, I ate the cat food once, but Mom just told me that story.
And why is Tootsie over here trying to eat my cookie?
And on Tuesday, we have got National Tortilla Chip Day.
Yep, we bring on the dips. We did that the other week.
We did so we were ahead of things. So I think, we've had so many cakey sort of things. Next week, what should we do?
Let's talk about cake.
Let them eat it.
Let them eat it. Yeah. You don't like my cake? Yeah, take it. Yeah. Okay.
Take this cake in.
Yeah. I love these country western songs.
I know. There's so many.
Take this cake and shove it. Yeah. Okay.
So I think it's time before we go any more nuts. Yeah. We just say bye for now. It's safer that way.
Yeah. Now it's time to say goodnight.
I'm not singing.
Okay.
All right, so we will see you next week.
Goodbye, y'all.
See you later.
Understand, I'm just a man with the pork fat baby back blues. Yeah, understand, I'm still your man with the pork fat baby back blues.